Hey, everybody, welcome to Strategic Thinking for Profit. My name is Michelle Campbell, CEO of Time Value Accounting and Business Services. So, Gary Sutton said that more businesses fail chasing sales rather than chasing profits. This means that you're trying to make sale and sale and sell, trying to sell as much people as you can. And in the meantime, you could be making little to no profits. This is so true for all small business, but my industry and other professional service firms are especially affected by this mindset. Here's why. The hourly billing model may have worked 50 years ago, but steadily it has eroded over time, and our environment has made significant shifts away from manufacturing and towards service, which has brought about creative ways of providing service, including huge leaps in technology. We can completely operate our businesses online. I do the majority of my services virtually. Clients don't ever have to walk into my office. I sometimes go to them, but it's mostly done electronically or virtually, and which is very beneficial in the time of COVID. So we don't ever have to meet our customer in person. Relationships are absolutely unimportant if you are a commodity seller. So this includes apps, which bring about the bare minimum result, but it's a cost saving for the customer. So if the customer doesn't see something as being of value or worth it, they're going to pay the bare minimum just to get by. And so, not saying that they're right, but this is how it is. And I can speak from my industry, my own personal experiences in working with businesses. And I've made decisions within my business to avoid the client who doesn't see what I'm providing as valuable or are looking for the bare minimum, because then they're never going to want to pay the price or pay for the value I feel my firm is providing. So it's something that we all have to compete with today. How do we stop ourselves from being commoditized and stop trying to make sale after sale after sale without seeing any profits, or better yet, not realizing that we're not seeing profits? We're feeling like we're making all this money, and we are. Technically, we're bringing all this money, but you're not seeing any profits. And you ask why. You don't know why you're working so hard and not making anything, but that's part of the reason. So competition for my industry includes retail chains like H&R Block, and technology apps like there's Wave, and there's other things that people can do, or Bench, or they're providing that bare minimum, and they're charging low cost for it, which is commoditizing my industry. And so we have to seek a different type of clientele than what they're attracting. All of this competition gives way to the devaluing of the perceived benefit to our own potential clients. So we're not immune from it. Even if we seek our own niche or our own clients, we feel that these are the clients we're looking for because they're going to pay the price. This is a steady degradation of the perceived value in society as a whole. Because if you're saying, okay, well, I can get it for this much, but maybe it's worth it getting this much because I'm getting X, Y, and Z, but you're still comparing it to this base. You're still comparing it to this little amount. And so that eats away at the value that is, the perception of the value, no matter how good your services are. So you have to be awesome and build out a service that overcomes those impediments. So with that being said, if you're chasing sales under the current environment, this could mean a significant drop in profits because you can't compete with these cheap alternatives. The same way that Walmart has an economy of scale over local competitors, the buy local movement is an effort to combat this reality. Walmart can sell at these lower prices because of economies of scale. They have different agreements with vendors because they have everywhere. Walmart is the biggest employer. So they're crowding out these little mom and pop shops, these little local stores who can't provide that same cost. They don't have the same distribution networks. So once again, Walmart, you go to Walmart, everybody goes to Walmart and they get something for cheaper, but then the local economy suffers. So we're not looking at the little nuances of what happens when you go to Walmart versus the mom and pop shop. We're just looking at our wallet and saying, oh, but I can get at Walmart for this price. And I'm guilty of the same thing. But it's something that we all have to look at. How is us going to Walmart versus the mom and pop shop affecting the local economy? But that's just my little rant. But it does apply. It does apply because in the mom and pop shop, you probably can get more personal attention. So the mom and pop shop has to think of a way to elevate their services. They have to think of a way to kind of corner a certain market and not just sell the same thing, pick it off the because you can just go to Walmart, pick it off the shelf. What can the mom and pop shop do differently that exceeds Walmart's? Okay, so what can you do? The first thing we talked about is the proper customer selection. You have to pick out your customer. You have to name your customer. There's no right way to price the wrong customer. Believe me, even if they pay your right price, they may not be your customer because they can be the pain in your ass for the rest of your working life. So can you think of a current or past customer and you knew in your soul that they were wrong? I can tell you, the look on my face tells you I've experienced that. You knew from the time they walked in your door or the time they called you, you knew they were wrong, but you took it anyway. You talked yourself into it. So proper customer selection is very important, and it's you partially learning over time. It definitely is not overnight thing, but naming that customer, how much do they earn? What is their profession? What do they do for their professional life? How are they bringing in money? Are they married? Are they this? What's their age group? Naming that customer is very important so that you know who you're targeting. Who is your perfect customer? What is their mindset in terms of everything, in terms of what they're willing to pay you? What do they see as valuable? Okay, so number 2 is proper pricing of the customer maintains the price leverage before the work begins. So this gives you control and competitive advantage in the relationship because guess what? If the leverage isn't there or working with that particular customer is not going to get you closer to your dream idea of business, then you don't enter into an agreement with them. You don't do the engagement. You have to know upfront what this engagement looks like. You have to have control over it. You have to price upfront and maintain that leverage in the relationship. And the only way to know that is to figure it out in the beginning before the work begins. Don't start something without having all of this laid out and agreed to. Pricing, know what your pricing is. You don't want to leave things open. You want to have ironclad from the very beginning before the work begins. And let me first tell you, I had a horrific experience, one horrific experience in my business. And I saved this person, I want to say 20 grand. And they went off the chain over $100 on my bill. I eventually just took it off because I said, I don't want this fight over $100, but they continue to put my name in or say my name, put their name out of their mouth and on social media because of that very same issue. I told them a certain price. It took extra work that was not included in the price. This person was bat crazy, but it taught me a very, very valuable lesson. And take this from me. So that whole knowing upfront everything you can possibly know, or at least having something in writing expressing the price differences so that they can't argue. And this happened early on. So it was a big learning lesson for me. But this, just know everything up front, have it clearly laid out so there's no misgivings and that you constantly have the leverage. Okay. So, and with that, number 3 is know the cost to serve before you begin the work, not after. Before you price the customer, know how much it costs to serve. So what is your cost per client? What tools, subscriptions, materials, supplies, and other costs of sales are required to service that particular client? Without knowing this answer, you can very well be providing services or products to a particular client for free, or worse yet, you are paying for it. So go to costofaclient.com and do a free assessment to find out where you stand with that. It's very easy. Costofaclient.com, check it out. So number 4, know what attributes of your value proposition your customer is willing to pay for. What does this client deem as important or as valuable? So this very important piece of information will give you the roadmap as how to price your service, how to price for a particular client. It is not when you're pricing your client, it's not everybody. Everybody's not the same. You have to know what's important to this client and price accordingly, because not everybody values the same thing. So listen and ask probing questions to find out what's important to this potential client and use that to determine what kind of value you can provide, because the value may be of a higher level of service than somebody else, and they're willing to pay for it. They may not be willing to pay what you did for somebody else. So really listen and probe, ask questions, and learn what that client feels is valuable. And number 5 is the sooner you quote a price, the lower it will be. So take your time. Don't rush into the pricing. We've all done it. It's awkward, especially when you're sitting in front of a client and you're giving a proposal. It's awkward. People don't like that awkward silence. And there's actually expert salespeople who tell you to love the silence. It's awkward as hell, but understand their point. I used to say that the first person who talks loses. It's kind of like that. The first person who speaks loses, because that's the person who feels uncomfortable enough to want to end the silence, that wants to settle things and not go through this anymore. So silence is your friend. Don't rush to say a price to end the awkwardness and rush everything. So take your time. All right. And number 6, price competition is only for weak competitors. That's all they have to differentiate themselves is price. You don't want to value yourself based upon on the competition. You don't want to lower your prices just to get a customer and beat out the competition. That's not the kind of business you're trying to run. You're not a discount retailer. Don't cut your prices just to undercut. That's not the kind of business you want to have. And then you end up losing money. Same way. So was it worth having that client when you're working for free? So number 8, adding value and service guarantees requires wisdom and expertise. So what can you add to your service for a particular client? And this goes back to having the conversation. What do they value? How do you build out a package that emphasizes what this client values. It takes wisdom and expertise, so, learning in the business and having these conversations many times, learning how, because after a while, having these conversations kind of gets, the rhythm, you steer the conversation. So you kind of know, people are not that different. So you kind of know how things will go and you get quite comfortable. So learning how to steer the conversation after a while, and also, just develop these cues, or develop these instincts. It will happen. Just have enough of these conversations and pay attention, and they'll become more comfortable. So being intuitive, seeing the little cues that your customers are giving, what kind of things, know in advance what kind of things you can add into your packages. So know in advance and then respond and customize accordingly. All right. So at number 9, you're responsible for setting prices, not your customers, not your competitors, not anybody else, vendors, or even previous owners, if there was a previous owner. Nobody is responsible for your business but you. You can't let anybody else dictate your prices. Customers should have no control whatsoever on your pricing. And number 10, you are the only one that can cut prices. So when you allow customers to negotiate, we're training them that we're always up for negotiation. You're also training yourself. You're training yourself to respond, to react, and to see, look at the customer and look at their eyes and see how they're responding. And you're like, oh, but I can do it for $100 less. I've done it. Early days. I get it. But it's no good. You're responding quickly because you just want a client. You just want the sale. You just want the sale. But you're not looking at your financials. You're not looking at how much this person is costing you. So you are allowed to cut prices. I've cut prices under selected circumstances. So I'm looking at a particular situation and I say, I'll cut prices when I feel it's necessary, but not because of somebody trying to negotiate with me. I don't do that. So you know the difference between need and want. For instance, it could be, under this current and coronavirus environment, you decided to provide services to current clients for free. I've given my services for free to current clients because of the current situation, or reduce costs. It may be somebody else that comes to you who's not a current client and you want to help them. There's nothing wrong with that. You can do that. But, especially if they're like a nonprofit and you want to help because they need it, there's nothing wrong with that. But you know the difference. You know the difference between somebody who needs help and you want to help them, and someone who's just a schmuck who thinks that you're not valuable and your prices are too high. And, you know the difference. But you always want to look at what is something taking in terms of your time, in terms of your cost of sales. How much are you worth? So you always want to look at that, no matter if, even in the decision whether or not to cut prices. But you should be the only one making those decisions. All right. So thank you again for being with me. Hopefully, I provided some value of my own. And if you appreciate me and what I do, please like my page, Strategic Thinking for Profit. And I'd like to announce proudly that I've started a new Facebook group. It's called Strategic Thinking for Profit, the Business Network. Please join. It is going to have a lot of information for you in terms of helping you in your business, a lot of exclusive content to help you grow your business, help you learn how to run a business. And, it's going to have a lot of networking. I'm only accepting a certain type of clientele. It's only business clients. Not everybody's going to be invited, but I'm inviting you. You're all business people. You're all wonderful. And trying to grow that network. And it's going to have daily educational topics. It's going to have videos. It's going to have networking, strategy, challenges, a lot of things going on. So I really want this group to give a lot of value, because it is my goal to help small business owners, especially women business owners, grow their businesses. All right. So please, Strategic Thinking for Profit, the business network, please sign up and join. And also, once again, check out costofaclient.com. So if you want to find out where you are in business, what changes you should make, and how to better reach your financial goals, costofaclient.com will help you determine where you stand and give you that insight and take your business to the next level, make more money, work with dream clients, and free up more time in your life and business. I'm also offering a free strategy session to help you grow your business and get off the cash flow hamster wheel. When you work with me, I help you plug the hidden money leaks in your business and skyrocket your revenue without crazy campaigns or expensive launches. Thank you again, and I will see you again next week, same time, same station. Bye.